But here we go now. The farmers are complaining that they can't get American workers to work their crops. Duh. You think American people gonna go out there in that hot sun for pennies? Get the f*** out of here.
No more Hispanic workers on his job site, so they called him in.
Not y'all melting. You all are like disintegrating into the rooftops and cement.
That's fine. We're just going to burn the fucking crops. Let everybody starve.
Jerry Spencer turned to unemployed Americans, but says after 2 weeks, most couldn't cope.
The farmer says, start over here and end over here. And that was the extent of their instructions.
So now that I have fallen down this rabbit hole, I just jumped onto Twitters. And I got an alt Twitter where I pretend to be a MAGA guy. And I saw a live. And I am not kidding you. This dude, all these dudes these farmer dudes in there, these farm owner dudes, are saying, well, we thought the blacks would come back and do the jobs because they don't have jobs.
Now you gotta be kidding me. Do they think we really looking for farm work? Do they not know that we are educated and we got degrees? And being a farm worker ain't even in the jobs categories that we be looking for. They really don't know how educated some of us are. They don't know how many degrees a lot of us have.
So let me get this right. Y'all about to come from inside of y'all's gated communities to do this.
Now, you've got crops that are rotting in the fields. You have livestock that is not being attended to at all. And that takes a lot of personnel. And we're talking, so now we're getting every area of food to include meat. And the communities that surround these farms, those businesses and those people who depend on the income from these farms, it's creating disasters for small communities in Texas.
ICE isn't just out here enforcing some bull laws. They are actively crippling our food systems with fear and chaos. You want to talk about consequences? This ain't just about politics anymore, y'all. It's about what's on your table, what's in your fridge, or what's about to be missing from your fucking store. These Nimrods aren't saving America. They're starving it.
Imagine waking up one day and the same folks who've been looking down on you for years are now begging you for help. That's exactly what's happening out in Texas right now. Texas farmers just got shut down overnight. No more immigrant workers, crops dying, money drying up, and now they looking at us like we supposed to step in and fix it all. But let's not forget, this ain't just random. This was part of the plan. Y'all remember when Trump was on that campaign trail shouting loud and proud about how immigrants were taking all the black jobs? He made that real clear. So now I gotta ask, what jobs was he talking about? Field work, backbreaking labor with no protection, no benefits, and barely any pay? Let me play y'all this clip real quick to remind you exactly what he said. Then we're gonna look at how that plan's really playing out now. Watch this.
And he caused the inflation. He's blaming inflation, and he's right, it's been very bad. He caused the inflation, and it's killing black families and Hispanic families and just about everybody. It's killing people. They can't buy groceries anymore. They can't. You look at the cost of food where it's doubled and tripled and quadrupled. They can't live. They're not living anymore. He caused this inflation. I gave him a country with essentially no inflation. It was perfect. It was so good. All he had to do is leave it alone. He destroyed it with his Green New scam and all this money that's being thrown out the window. He caused inflation. As sure as you're sitting there, the fact is that his big kill on the black people is the millions of people that he's allowed to come in through the border. They're taking black jobs now, and it could be 18, it could be 19, and even 20 million people. They're taking black jobs, and they're taking Hispanic jobs, and you haven't seen it yet, but you're going to see something that's going to be the worst in our history.
Although black workers have been overrepresented in certain job sectors like government and home health care, black Americans occupy all rungs of employment according to the Bureau of Labor of Statistics. And while data shows the unemployment rate for black workers fell to 5.3% under Trump, it fell even lower under President Biden to a new low of 4.8%. Data also suggests that migrants aren't taking away jobs. The Bureau of Labor of Statistics found that the unemployment rate for U.S.-born citizens remains near all-time lows, 3.8% in May. It is unlikely that the unemployment rate for native workers would be so low if they were being overtaken by immigrants.
But here we go now. The farmers are complaining that they can't get American workers to work their crops. Duh. You think American people gonna go out there in that hot sun for pennies? Get the fuck out of here. Yeah, you ain't gonna find no American workers to do that. Oh, don't get me wrong. You can get American workers if you pay them. You're going to have to pay them a hell of a lot of money to work in that hot ass sun. They looking at miles and miles of God field. Oh, come on now. You ain't getting American workers to do that.
No more Hispanic workers on his job site, so they called him in.
Not y'all melting. You all are like disintegrating into the rooftops and cement. Like, you voted for Trump so that he could take immigrants out to get jobs back that you never had. And you're dissolving outside in this heat. Y'all should have went for corporate jobs. Go take them out. Go take them out because you all gonna go extinct at this rate.
That's fine. We're just going to burn the crops. Let everybody starve.
Jerry Spencer turned to unemployed Americans, but says after 2 weeks, most couldn't cope.
The farmer says, start over here and end over here. And that was the extent of their instructions. With the American workers, they all had to be taught all this and separate. And in addition to the fact that their bodies just were not built for it.
So now that I have fallen down this rabbit hole, I just jumped onto Twitters. And I got an alt Twitter where I pretend to be a MAGA guy. And I saw a live. And I am not kidding you. This dude, all these dudes, these farmer dudes in there, these farm owner dudes, are saying, well, we thought the blacks would come back and do the jobs because they don't have jobs. Well, I'm sorry to break it to you, but black people have jobs, and you thought you were getting your slaves back is basically what you were saying. Like, that's what you thought. It's still going right now, and I'm not going to post a link to it because I don't want to give these people a voice. But they think they're in a safe space on Twitter. They're not.
Now, you got to be kidding me. Do they think we really looking for farm work? Do they not know that we are educated and we got degrees? And being a farm worker ain't even in the jobs categories that we be looking for. They really don't know how educated some of us are. They don't know how many degrees a lot of us have. They got to be really lost if they think that we want to come and work on their farms. They don't know that our parents and our grandparents growing up wouldn't even let us be outside if it wasn't no shade outside. Do they really think that we gonna work on a farm where ain't no shade trees at? I hate to disappoint y'all, baby, but you gonna have to get somebody else to do it, because we ain't working on nobody's farm. Never. The only way you gonna see black people working on a farm is if they own the farm, because we not working on nobody's farm as no workers. So I hate to disappoint y'all. If y'all thought those was black jobs that black people looking for, honey, you better think again, because black folks that I know got good jobs. We've had a black president. We had a black vice president. We got black senators. We got black congressmen. We got black CEOs. We got black doctors. We got black nurses. We got black psychiatrists. We got a lot of good black jobs. Now, I don't know what y'all thought we was going to be farm workers for. We don't even want to work in the fast food industry. Those jobs, we don't want those kind of jobs. So, I hate to disappoint you MAGA people, but we don't do farm work. So get somebody else to do it.
Texas is continuing the F around and find out stage. Guess what just hit 0 before Donald Trump's approval rating? Right there. Farm labor attendance, 0. Entire fields, whole crews are ghosting fields, leaving fruits and vegetables to rot because the Donald Trump administration is too busy playing cat and mouse with people who just want to feed America. To the MAGA people who are saying that immigrants are taking your job, this right here is your opportunity. Pick yourselves up by the bootstraps, get those buckets, and pick those strawberries. No more hiding behind those welfare checks that are padded behind blue state dollars. You wanted the raids, you got them. Now get in those fields and pick those fruits and vegetables before you watch the produce aisle turn to a luxury boutique section. Chop chop, MAGA. And that's it.
It's Joe from Georgia, so this is news out of Texas. But folks, these are alarm bells ringing for the entire United States, and our government is not listening. Overnight, multiple farms in the state of Texas completely shut down. And the reason for this shutdown was because they have lost almost 100% of their workforce. Now, we know this is the result of the immigration raids and stricter enforcement, but the ripple effect is going to be felt all the way across this country. Now, you've got crops that are rotting in the fields. You have livestock that is not being attended to at all. And that takes a lot of personnel. And we're talking, so now we're getting every area of food to include meat. And the communities that surround these farms, those businesses and those people who depend on the income from these farms, it's creating disasters for small communities in Texas. Now, this is not stopping at Texas farms. This is going to end up all the way across America, especially in the breadbasket, the middle of the nation, because they have tons of immigrant help. But folks, the alarm bells are ringing. Your food on your plate is being affected. So you got to think about it. It won't be soon until either prices go ridiculously high or you just won't have any food to buy.
We're here. We are here at the FAFO stage. This is really bad. And if you appreciate my content, please engage with this video. I'm just going to read this to you. Multiple Texas farms shut down after almost 100% of workforce vanishes overnight. In a stunningly swift overnight change, some Texas farm operations had to shut down after losing virtually all of their workforce, an exodus triggered by the increase in immigration raids and increased enforcement. The ripple effects of these raids are the gift that keeps on giving and will be felt nationwide. Unpicked crops are now left unharvested. Livestock were left untended, and rural economies are on edge. The story isn't just a tale of woe for Texas farms. It's a warning for American agribusiness, food prices, and communities that keep food on our plates. I need you to share this with every Republican you know. And you don't even need to wait for their response. They just need to know what's happening. And this is part of my line of work. I deal with commercial farmers, including these small farmers, as clients, and I cannot tell you how this is the beginning of the complete collapse of our economy under this Project 2025 administration that doesn't know what they're doing. You talk about the immediate shuttering of farms, because this is actually what's happening with the food, with the harvests that are lying there completely rotting. That is a loss of food to local food distributors, local grocery stores, local restaurants, hospitals, they sell their harvest, all sorts of vegetables, to businesses within the state of Texas. This is where you can go into your local grocery store, and now you're going to see hardly any vegetables or fruit, depending on what they're growing, or a shortage of meat. This is what's going to happen. Now, all of the other industries that support farming, you've got local pesticide, herbicide, fertilizer suppliers that are just, their sales are going to plummet. These farmers aren't going to be purchasing that. You've got H-2A workers who are now gone, migrant workers who are now gone. They were paying taxes. Even if they didn't have social security numbers, they were given tax numbers, tax ID numbers. So now you got millions of dollars just poof, gone overnight from these Texas communities. You've got trucking companies that are hired to haul the produce from the farms to the packaging plants. You've got packaging plants who wash the vegetables, grade the vegetables, pack the vegetables, whose sales are going to plummet. Now you're going to have other industries who don't employ either migrant workers or H-2A workers who are going to have layoffs. This is all under Republican leadership, not just from the White House, but from the Republicans that were elected in the state of Texas. And if you think this is going to stop at Texas, you've got another thing coming. And you want to know which farms are going to be impacted further down the road? They're going to be safe for now. There's a small percentage of farmers who are actually Democrats. And they understand how important it is to protect their employees, take care of their employees. Those employees who feel safe will keep showing up for work because they know the owners have their backs, which says something about these other farms where the employees are like, I'm too scared to show up. Let me add this final thing. This is going to impact farmers. They're at risk of going out of business. Who's going to jump in? The federal government to compensate them with our tax dollars. So now our tax dollars is going to be used to cover the bullshit leadership of this administration on top of the overwhelming increasing tax dollars being used by this administration to scare, to deport, to imprison people with brown skin. Like, our tax dollars are not helping everyday Americans at all. And this is just the beginning under Republican leadership.
So my wife was having a conversation with a family member who happens to be married to a farmer, and the family member was talking about how they recently had lost a number of workers due to deportations and how that was going to affect them, that work on the farm wasn't going to get done, that they might not produce as much milk or as much grains as they normally would because they wouldn't have the workers to get this done. And once again, it shows that, one, Trump supporters, as these individuals are, don't care about the people. They care about only things when they affect themselves. They only care when it's going to affect the money that they make, or in this case, that they're actually going to have to go out and do what farmers should be doing, which is working in their fields, working in their barns. They didn't care that the people are deported. They care that they might lose some money and that they're going to have to actually work for a little bit of time. They don't care about the people. And it's another one of those "we told you so" moments.
Best thing that MAGA can do at this point is go on and tell us that they f***ed up and jump sides and help us get that motherfucker out of the White House.
Well, thanks to the big orange gremlin looking motherfucker, multiple farms in Texas just shut down overnight. Why? Because ICE raids made nearly 100% of the workforce completely vanish. People ran, got detained, or flat out got scared to death and never came back. Dairy farms are in panic mode right now. Cows got to be milked every 8 hours. And guess what? Nobody's showing up to milk these folks. This isn't some Texas problem either. This is happening across the entire nation. ICE isn't just out here enforcing some bullshit laws. They are actively crippling our food systems with fear and chaos. You want to talk about consequences? This ain't just about politics anymore, y'all. It's about what's on your table, what's in your fridge, or what's about to be missing from your store. These Nimrods aren't saving America. They're starving it.
White farmers have been like complaining like, where are all the black people? Because see, they really didn't care that apparently they didn't care that ICE was coming and picking up their workers, because they were of the thought that black people would come and take their place and work for a lower wage. So, you know, you got, oh, you can't have razor bumps in the military. Oh, you can't, they couldn't Job Corps, they couldn't benefits, Medicaid, Medicare, because the assumption is that these programs that the government funds, only black people participate in them. So if we cut all of these out, they'll be forced to come back to the fields. Much like back when black women decided not to work, they made it a law that if any black woman wasn't working, they would go to jail. So white women wouldn't have to work. And so now they're shocked, like, we've taken all these things from black people. Why aren't they in the fields? And it's mighty funny how when all of the jobs were being cut and lost, the main demographic who suffered were black women. Over 100,000 jobs of black women were lost because you figured, oh, if we get them out of there, they'll be forced to go into the fields. So you got rid of the DEI, thinking that we were DIE when we got out there. This is what happens when y'all be in black people business and you don't understand it. Because if we did to you the same thing you're doing to us, you would falter and crumble. Because you can't understand any culture outside of yourself, you don't understand that in our culture is embedded making a way out of no way. You don't know anything about that. You don't understand African American vernacular. When we say like get active or get in the field, you took it literally. We're not going out there. That food is gonna rot. We know what to do.
So, after seeing all of that, let me ask y'all something. Do you see how this country works? Do you see how hard America will bend over backwards to degrade, to exclude, and to manipulate systems just to make sure we don't benefit, only for it to backfire on them in the end? Let's talk about it. They shut down DEI programs. They told the world that diversity, equity, and inclusion were somehow a threat. To who, though? Because it ain't hurting us the most. It's hurting them. These were the programs barely giving black folks a fighting chance to begin with. And now, with those stripped away, corporations and institutions are starting to feel the pressure of their own ignorance. They created the box, then got mad when they couldn't breathe in it. They're laying off workers left and right. They're slashing jobs, closing doors, tightening the economy, and somehow still expecting everything to run smooth. But the ones suffering the most? Working-class white folks who voted for these policies thinking it was going to hurt black and brown people. Instead, they're watching their towns dry up and their farms go bankrupt. And let's not even get started on what they're doing to immigrants. ICE raids, deportations, constant fear tactics, all while knowing good and well that those same immigrants were given temporary status as long as they were working. You needed their labor. You relied on that labor. But instead of protecting it, you weaponized it. And now, surprise, you ain't got nobody to work them fields. But here's the twist. Somehow, y'all had it in your minds that black folks were going to step in and take those jobs. That once the immigrants were gone, we'd be lining up to break our backs for pennies in the sun. Who told y'all that lie? Because let me be real clear, black people ain't trying to go backwards. We've been there. Our blood built this land. We've done the forced labor. We've been the backbone of this economy from the cotton fields to the factories. And now you expect us to volunteer for the same work our ancestors were forced to do? Without pay, without justice, without protection? Absolutely not. Black folks are chasing ownership. We're building businesses. We're getting educated, skilled, creative, and global. We are not interested in picking up where slavery left off. And what's really infuriating is that these same systems that need labor, that need support, that need people, they will literally design programs and still make sure we don't qualify. Let's talk about the farming programs, the subsidies, the federal assistance. These programs were supposed to help small farmers, but guess what? Black farmers are almost always left out. Not because we don't apply, not because we don't farm, but because we're either told we don't qualify or we're just ignored completely. That ain't an accident, that's design. And it's been going on since the USDA and other agencies were first created. So here's the question I have for y'all. Why do you keep voting for people who will sabotage you just to hurt us? Why do you support policies that punish immigrants, cut safety nets, and slash education, all because you think it'll stop black and brown folks from getting ahead, when all it really does is tear your own communities apart? And since y'all so worried about who's working the farms now, here's an idea. Get out there and do it yourself. Get your behind out there and pick those crops, run those tractors, sweat in that heat. Since you were so proud of voting for the administration that created this mess, go ahead and live in the world you voted for. That's accountability. But don't look at us like we're supposed to clean it up. We're not your backup plan. This whole situation should be a wake-up call, not just to the farmers, but to the entire system. You can't keep cutting off the very people who've kept this country running and expect it to work out in your favor. You can't keep pushing policies rooted in racism and expect to grow crops from poisoned soil. At the end of the day, this country needs to have a serious conversation about who really keeps it moving and who it continues to leave behind. Because this ain't just about farms. It's about the bigger picture. It's about labor, race, power, and justice. And we see it. We see all of it. Crystal clear. So if you've been watching this and feeling some type of way, leave a comment below. Let me know your thoughts, your perspective, because the more we talk about it, the more people hear about it. And this is the kind of conversation we need to be having, loudly. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe so you don't miss out on any videos. And remember, we ain't going back. We're moving forward, together. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.
Property management, project manager, physical therapist, emergency medicine resident physician, internal medicine resident physician, OBGYN resident physician, emergency medicine resident physician, OBGYN resident physician, dermatologist, lawyer, OBGYN resident physician, lawyer, flight attendant. I'm a city girl live from Miami. I'm Dee Bride and I'm a plastic surgeon resident physician.